Hello and welcome to Fergie's Gun. My name's Nathan Irvine and I'm your host for the day, joined in attack, as always, by Mr. Paul Cropper. How you doing, mate?
All right, look at that gun show there. Look at that. It's daylight here. I had a lie-in this morning. Nathan was at a meet. Daylight. Look at that. Not like a vampire this morning. Brilliant stuff.
You have had an extra hour in bed. An extra hour in bed today because obviously I was out in a meeting. So what time is it there now? 7 o'clock? 7:20?
20 past 7. Yeah, 7:20. Second
There
brew.
we go. Fantastic.
Fergie's
There we
gun
go.
mug.
I mean,
Coming
mine's
soon.
all
Coming soon, yeah.
Mine's all faded. We're going to get better quality than this one. Not dishwasher safe. I'm saying that.
Have you been licking the outside of that mug?
Always.
You're doing it wrong.
Always. Right. Anyway, no matches this week to cover. We're not playing FA Cup. Various other things taking place without Manchester United. Aiden Heaven, Lenny Yoro, Benjamin Sesko apparently in Dubai. So they're around here somewhere having a little training session. Somewhere around here having a little training session. But doesn't matter if Manchester United are not playing on the pitch. They're somehow always making headlines. And this week, I don't want to delve into it too much, but I did want to get your thoughts on it. Sir Jim Ratcliffe coming out with some incendiary comments about the UK being colonised, which was xenophobic and fairly racist, to just plonk it down there, saying that immigrants have taken over, which is rich coming from a billionaire that is an immigrant in another country for tax reasons. So, there are those things. It has raised a lot of questions about Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the things that he says. I don't know if you actually saw the interview, but it was abruptly kind of cancelled by I imagine his PR person, who was like, "You've said it twice. Yeah, you said colonised twice. You was asked to clarify your statement, and you doubled down on it. Like, yeah, let's get this off." But you're obviously someone that is still going to games, and you live in Greater Manchester. So Jim Ratcliffe is representing Manchester United these days. It's not just his poxy little petrochemicals company. He has to be a bit more careful with his words, doesn't he?
More than that, Nathan. When you said you didn't want to talk about it, I thought it was disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. You don't come out and say anything. What are you doing? It struck me as an out of touch, like you say, a billionaire who's got no idea what the real world's like, or no idea what Manchester's like. Manchester is Cheetham, Rusholl, Salford. We are immigrants and we all get on. They live side by side and we get on. And most of us are United fans. What's he doing? Ridiculous. I know there's issues in the world. There's issues around illegal immigrants, etc., and things like that. But if billionaires weren't tax dodgy, if they were paying the money into the country like they should be doing, the police would be funded like they would. The NHS would be funded like it should be. There'd be no potholes going on. So if you're going to criticise anybody, look at home, look closer to home, Sir Jim. So yeah, I thought it was disgraceful. Yeah, and maybe you should jump into these interviews, you idiot.
I've listened to, just let me give you your props first. I've listened to many people talk about this on different podcasts and stuff. You've just summed it up perfectly, more than any of those guys, and they're professionals, mate. But I'm completely on board with that there. Gave me goosebumps, you saying that then. Love it,
Cheers, mate. Do you know the first people when I heard it, because I didn't watch the interview because I didn't want to be honest with you, after what I heard he said. I heard what he said first and I thought, I'm not watching. Do you know the Sikh lads? The Sikh family, always at Old Trafford. They were the first people that I don't know why, but they were the first people that I thought, what must they have been thinking about what he said? We've supported United all the lives, all the family has to go to the games. And the owner of the club saying things like that. We have Mumbai, all around the world. We have fans everywhere. What must they be thinking of the owner? No, I'm not having it, Nathan. I think a lot of people have kind of brushed it off to the side and thought, no, it's not acceptable. No.
Yeah. I think his apology, well, it was a non-apology. It was basically, "Oh, I'm sorry if you're offended," which is the ultimate like scumbag trick of, I've said what I need to say. I've made a statement, and I'm sorry if you're upset about it, but these things need to be said. Nah, like you, I'm not having it as well. You
Well,
know, it's
we've all got in Manchester. Sorry, we've all got Asian friends. We've all got friends from Bangladesh with their families who come up and they put things into the country. That's what they do. Well, what makes a Jamaican heritage like yourself? It's ridiculous thing to say. Absolutely
yeah,
ridiculous. I'm Irish. Irish.
yeah, I know.
So
My mum is.
most of us
My
are.
mum's.
Yeah, most of us are immigrants, and for him to come out and say that, I thought was ridiculous, mate. I was just out of touch, Nathan. Yeah. So
Yeah. I just like I don't want to dwell on this because obviously, you know, it is a big issue, but you know, we're supposed to be light-hearted in terms of the way that we present this podcast, you know, just to
yeah.
I was
Well,
gonna
start
say, are
swearing.
you I
Start
know
swearing.
exactly.
I'm not. I'm
I
not doing it.
I was gonna say 2 40-year-olds, but I can't remember. Are you actually in your 40s yet?
Yeah, of course, yeah. 42.
Oh, right.
40
Okay.
42, 43
Okay.
next year. Yeah. I know
Okay.
I don't
I
look it
could
on this HD
I
camera,
know.
but,
I know.
cheers, mate.
Took 10 years off me. But I was gonna say, you know, just 2 40-somethings just trying to make it, you know, a nice, pleasant podcast for people to listen to. But these issues, they're huge, and it's not the first time that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has come out and said something that's been incendiary, and it feels like I think you were right in what you said. He's completely lost touch with what reality is, and I think you reach a certain status when you become a billionaire where you don't quite realize like how the other half are living, and not even the other half, how the other 99.9% are living. Um, because you're swanning around on yachts, on private jets, and you know, dealing with billion-dollar companies. His company's in the red, by the way. You know, they've got bailouts all over the shop, and he needs the UK government and Greater Manchester's mayor to back him for this new stadium. Like that's fairly obvious. And the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Rachel Reeves, the finance minister, and also Andy Burnham, Greater Manchester's the mayor, have all come out to condemn him. Even the club, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this as well. United even released, they didn't mention the comments, but United even released a statement saying, "We are a club for everyone. We are Manchester United." And
Yeah.
I wonder, for me, I wonder how the Glazers are looking at something like that. I mean, I don't care about those guys, like they're awful leeches, but what are they thinking about this? Because surely that's going to affect commercial deals now.
Yeah, I don't think they care anything, do they? They don't. They probably agree with him, don't they? These billionaires are all sit at the
But
same bloody table.
do you not think? But okay. So where do you think that statement came from then? Because I'm
I
sure
think
as hell.
that
I don't
statement
think it
came
was
from
from
a
Jim.
billion. Oh, you mean the statement of condemning it? No, it's probably come from a PR company. He's probably been saying it there on screen, and there's four of them going, "What's he doing? What's he doing? Right, get something together quickly. Panic, panic, panic." Yeah, he's probably
But
put heads together and thought, "We can't do this."
I get what you're saying about him panicking, but someone has signed off on Manchester United. Bear in mind, he's the co-owner. Someone has signed off on, we need to make a statement about what he's just said. And that's not going to be Jim Ratcliffe that signed off on that. So personally, I think that's the Glazers have gone, what is he talking about? They got straight in touch with Omar Barada and said, get
Oh my
something
God.
get something drafted now and get it sorted because there's no way that we can align ourselves with this.
You know that GIF where everyone just goes, "Oh," and they all slap their
Yeah.
heads? I can
Yeah.
imagine everyone in America waking up going, "Oh, what's he done? Oh, no,
Yeah.
what's he done?" Right, sort something out. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it probably would
Exactly.
have gone with Barada and stuff like that, but what a clown.
What a clown. And as I said before, it's not the first time that he said things that have messed people about, like the redundancies issue, you know, oh, it was necessary and I've got to be the man that makes bad decisions and stuff like that. Like, come on, man. Think about this. You're not like, yes, you've got the club in a better shape, but think about what you're saying. You know, people have lost their jobs, their livelihoods. They might not have anything else to go to. Manchester United was their life. Now that's been torn away. Also, when he was talking about Casemiro and Bruno being overpaid, yes, I can agree with that, but that wasn't their fault that they didn't ask for that salary. They got given it, and that they were past their best. Like, you know, I wouldn't give players like that contracts. which I kind of get on the surface of it, but they're still playing for the club at the time. And look at and they've been our best players this season. He said that 2 seasons ago, and they've been our best players this season. So I think, yeah, what you said early on, I think Jim Ratcliffe needs to avoid doing any sort of interviews in the near future because he just cannot help himself saying something daft. The type of thing that years and years ago you'd hear from some old fella in the pub, and you just get up and walk off and just be like, "Short man." But now you can't. It's everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, you do hear comments like that still, don't you? And it's not a rarity, and it's a generational thing as well. Men of a certain age seem to think the same way. So hopefully, it's down to us lot to try and change the world because look what that lot have done to it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Hey everywhere. Hey everywhere. That's not what we're about, is it? That's not what I like to be for. If you're an idiot, you're an idiot, no matter where you come from. And
Yeah.
Sir Jim's an idiot. No matter how much money you've got, if you're poor, you're rich, if you're
Yeah.
white, you're black, you're Asian. If you're an idiot, you're
Yeah.
an idiot. Simple as that. But yeah,
Exactly.
Yep.
And he
like I
climbed
said, we're
he
a club
climbed
for
up
everyone.
exactly. He climbed up the ladder and he pulled it up behind him. He ain't bringing anyone with him. So there we go. You know, he's a billionaire.
Stop
He's
wheeling
made his
out
money.
a billionaire with all his money and his views, because none of us care.
It's been a while, mate, but it is time to resurrect the Gummers Hall of Fame. I think the last person that we did was Ryan Giggs. We've done Eric Cantona. We've done Roy Keane, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've done 3 so far. It's time to induct our 4th into the Gummers Hall of Fame. I'll give him a little bit of an intro. You probably guess early doors. But Manchester United, I'm going to give it away straight away. Manchester United's all-time leading goal scorer, 253 goals in all competitions, Premier League giant, 208 league goals, 3rd highest in Premier League history at the time, and 103 assists. He's got an elite output, this man. 16 trophy haul at Old Trafford, including the lot. Premier League, UEFA Champions League, FA Cup, Europa League, and the FIFA Club World Cup. This was a weird one for me, part of a rare English double, one of only 2 Englishmen, alongside current interim head coach Michael Carrick, to win the Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League, League Cup, Europa League, and Club World Cup. Only 2 English players have ever done that, mate. Iconic moments, I mean, we'll get onto those later, but he's a human highlight reel anyway. PFA Player of the Year numerous times, Football Writers Footballer of the Year a couple of times as well, England Player of the Year on 4 occasions, and my new best mate after meeting him last year at his 40th birthday party. It can only be this man.
We heard that Wayne Rooney might be coming off for Manchester United. A little knock in the first half. Now that here's Rooney! Oh my goodness me! That is one of the strikes of the season! Absolutely brilliant! Fantastic from Wayne Rooney!
Mr. Wayne Rooney, everyone. It had to be, didn't it? It had to be.
What a player. What a player he was, funny. Absolutely brilliant. He's I made a few notes because we said we were going to talk about it, but I was thinking about it last night, and I've put, even though he's done everything that you said there, and he's got all his plaudits, I still think he's underrated. I really do. I think Rooney's the best Premier League striker we've ever seen. And I was thinking, around Europe, around the world ever, there's only one man who's the best striker ever. That's R9. And I was thinking, Rooney's the only one who got close to him. Rooney, at 18 to 23, was a beast. And he would have got in the Galactico team. He would have got in any AC Milan team. He would have got in Pep's Barca team. He would have got in Chelsea's Women Week. He would have got in the Invincibles. And he probably would have been the best player in most of them teams. That's how good Wayne Rooney was. Scored goals, scored every goal. Tap-ins, headers, 30 yards, power shots, little dinks, 60 yards, free kicks, could hold the ball up, could play as the 9, as the 10 on the wing, worked hard, tackled back. Brilliant. He could take on 3 players, slot it in the bottom corner, or he could just absolutely hammer it. Honestly, when you think back to what Wayne Rooney did at such a young age, because he peaked early, didn't he? He peaked between 17 and 22, 23. That was his peak. And then he had to change his game after that because he was playing football from so young. And he probably didn't look after himself as much as he probably should have done, really. But at that age, I can't think of strikers, any, apart from our nine, like I said, that were anywhere near him. Unbelievable player.
And I think one of the questions that I was going to ask you is, because of the way that he burst onto the scene, as you say, just as a young lad. I'm talking specifically about Manchester United here, but obviously everyone remembers his goal for Everton against Arsenal when he really introduced himself. You know, the commentary about, you know, Wayne Rooney, remember the name. That debut that he had against Fenerbahce, and he scored a hat-trick for Manchester United. I was watching that and I was like, what is going on? Yeah. Like, we've all seen like great players come through at Manchester United before, but this was something completely different. And like you say, it wasn't just the goals, it was the way that he played, and it was just a tiger on the pitch. He wanted everything. And what I was going to ask you is, do you think we'll ever see players like that again? Because I feel like they're overcoached these days, and they don't have this street baller mentality anymore.
No, you said a tiger there. I thought it was more like a bull. He'd run through everything, wouldn't he? He'd take everything. I think they've tried. Rooney was probably difficult to coach at times because he'd be like, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm going doing that. I'm bored. I'm going getting the ball." And he would get bored. Rooney playing up front. It's no, I want to be involved. I want to touch the ball. And that. I bet he'd not annoy you because he's one of the best players ever. But if you said do that, he'd be like, "No, I'm the old man. I'm going to go and do that. And you're not going to tell me any otherwise." He was just the old man, and he was very strong-minded. And I think, like you say, kids like that nowadays, they probably ship him on and go, "He's not doing as he's told." But you couldn't do that with Wayne Rooney because he was literally unbelievable. He had to, the first time I probably thought, wow, because he scored a few goals for Everton and there were the links with United, and it was the Euros. And then the Euros, he scored a few goals for England, and you're like, well, I've never seen anything like this. He'd give it and go. And I've just watched a couple of them then. And then when he bullied Lilian Thuram, absolutely bullied him, one of the best defenders in the world, and the France team didn't know what to do with him on his own. He just bullied him, and you're like, this kid's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I think what a lot of people, this is why I said I don't think he gets the props that he probably deserves, Wayne Rooney, is because you think of the players that he was playing against. You think of the defenders, the likes of John Terry, Paolo Maldini, the top defenders, Sergio Ramos, around, because that's when football was at its peak for me. I mean, maybe that's probably an age thing, but football peaked when Wayne Rooney was at his peak. And that was probably the most difficult time to be a striker. And he stood out up there. It's top player. I can't say how much we could love a player like that nowadays.
It's and again, like, just going back to the point that I was making, yeah, we do love a player like that, but it is rare that those types of players come through. Like, I can't think of anyone that is like a maverick style player like this. Eden Hazard was another one that, you know, that used to play in that street ball where that he can do what he wants type of way. Don't really see that anymore. There always seems to be a formula in how these players play. But Wayne Rooney, you just felt like he could do everything. You didn't feel like, oh, if you put him if he was defending a corner, you'd expect him to head it out. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like he's going to be in the wrong place or he's going to mess up. If you played him in midfield, you'd be like, right, okay, he's going to do something here as well. Played him up top. He just wants the ball. He just wants to play. And I would say any young kids or any parents that are listening to this podcast, and you've got young kids that are getting into football, don't bother showing them highlights of Vinny Jr. or Lamine Yamal, and because that is coached within an inch of their lives. Like, they might do little flicks and tricks every now and again, but Rooney could do that, but with actual conviction and an end product at the end of it. And he wouldn't get caught up in this little, fall into the floor. He probably had a few dives over the years, but he wanted, if you wanted a battle with him, he was ready for it. And I know we described Diego Leon as this, but he was like a can of Spam. He's just built like solid, low center of gravity, beautiful touch on him. I likened him to like like those dangerous dogs that get banned in the UK. They
Bully.
can
Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
they can look like friendly and stuff, but you just know that at any moment they could turn on you, and that's what I felt about Wayne Rooney, and I think that's what scared a lot of defenders. They didn't know what they were dealing with that day. Is he going to shoot from 25 yards, or is he going to power past me and take me on like an R9, as you say, pop it in the bottom corner? And for me, when I was looking back at the clips, obviously that Newcastle United one, where he scored that volley in the Stretford end, that came off the back of arguing with the referee. And on the earlier part of that commentary, it's we're hearing that Wayne Rooney might be coming off. He's just taken a knock, so we're hearing he might come off, and then he pulls that out of the bag. That's that type of mentality of just the shot was pure anger. But it was on target and it was directed into something absolutely productive and that had a finesse to it. You don't see that much these days, do you? It's
No,
few
you
and far
don't. No,
between.
he's just on that goal. He spoke about Rooney, and he said what he was annoyed at with the referee is Alan Shearer was trying to referee the game, and he was fuming at the referee letting Shearer and wallop, have that, get that.
Yeah.
I'm going off now anyway. Do you know what, that determination and anger? It's probably because he's a Scouser, comes from Liverpool. It probably comes from where he's brought up and his family, and because he's from a council estate, and that's probably, we all probably relate to him a lot, especially we're from council estates, and that brings you up a certain way. You have to be tough. You have to be able to look after yourself. You have to have a certain determination about yourself. For him to get where he was, to get to where he got, it takes a certain amount of determination, and that probably put him in a good stead when he was younger to be like, no, I'm determined. I want to win. I'm going to show you what I'm all about. A lot of people, we kind of, I don't think they forget that he's a Scout, but Manchester and Liverpool, even though there's that hatred, there's still a bit of respect because we're quite alike, really. It's like a bubble of no, we don't have a lot of money. We don't do this. What we do, we love football. We absolutely love football, and we love our own. And when he came to United, Scouser at Manchester United, how's this going to work out? Well, hat-trick on your debut always helps, doesn't it, Nathan?
Yeah, hat-trick on your debut really does help. The first game ever in the Champions League as well, wasn't it, for him? I mean, first game for United, first game in the Champions League, like loads of records broken on that night, but it was that one that really introduced him onto the world stage. I know he'd had that goal against Arsenal, as I said before, left Seaman, clutching at air when he popped it into the top corner. But it was that hat-trick against Fenerbahce when it was like, wow, this kid is special. What is your favourite Wayne Rooney moment? Because I was actually in the Stretford end watching that game when he scored against Newcastle. So I was behind the goal when that went in, and I couldn't believe that it had gone in, and I don't think anyone else could that was there. But I'm fairly certain the Newcastle fans couldn't, or the Newcastle players, because that was unreal.
Favourite Rooney moment? There's so many, isn't there? It's got to be the overhead kick against City, I think. I think it has to be. Just because City were on the come up there, weren't they? And there was just a little bit of that they're creeping, and then for him to score the overhead kick, give it the old in the corner like that. Yeah, he had that many, Rooney. He had that many moments that were important, but he had you could probably talk about 20 of his goals that were standout. One for me, the City one, and the Newcastle one, that they're there, aren't they? The goal, so memorable, brilliant.
Yeah, the West Ham one from the halfway line.
Yeah. That's what. When I put he can score all types of goals, he did, didn't he? On the regular. Yeah. I think when he went and played up front, he probably showed more discipline than when he went as the number 9. Right, I'm going to stay here. And he stayed in between the sticks, and he scored 20 odd goals that season, Premier League goals. And yeah, I think he has come out himself and said how he didn't enjoy it. Just bored. I want to get involved. He wants to clatter people, and he wants to touch the ball. And he wants to absolutely nail someone. And he'd leave it on every fullback. You're a fullback clearing the ball, you see Rooney running over at pace. But he must have been 14 stones solid. And run into your feet. Oh no, that's gonna work. But you can imagine Wayne Rooney, if he lost at anything, he'd lose his rag, wouldn't he? Anything, you playing cards with him, he'd sit at the table. "Oh, I'm not playing this anymore. I'm going." It just that kind of guy. Don't want to lose at anything at all. Playing Uno, smack me in the face like that.
I should have asked him that. Maybe I'll ask him next time he's out if he just
Yeah,
fancies
yeah,
a game,
yeah.
fancies
It's
a quick
just
game of
that type
Uno.
of personality. That type of personality hates losing at anything. Not just with football.
And I think
Love it.
I think one of the reasons why he ends up in the Hall of Fame, in the Gunners Hall of Fame, is because we don't have those players anymore, and he really feels like, apart from Zlatan, I think that, and maybe even Bruno to a certain extent, but not. I mean, Bruno never shirks a fight. I'll say that, but he never backs out of it. He's always there, whether it gets him a red card or not. But we've been starved of that type of player that grabs the game by the scruff of the neck and goes, right, we're winning this. Too many soft lads playing for Manchester United that just don't grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And you cannot throughout his career, you cannot say that Wayne Rooney wasn't the first one that tried to do something to get the game going. He obviously had his down, his at the moments where he dropped off his performances, and he had his moments back in, when was it? Was it 2010 that he tried to move to City or Chelsea or wherever would take him, because he said that the club lacked ambition, and he had a point at the time. He really did have a point. He's come out later and said that he really regrets ever having said that, but at the time he felt like he had a purpose in life and in football, and he felt like Manchester United weren't following that. He felt like they was just letting things just slip by the wayside. And obviously that was the start of the decline, because, well, look at where we are now, with no money put in by the Glazers, no real ambition when they're buying players. It took Ineos to come in and buy Benjamin Sesko, Brian Mbeumo, and Matthias Cunha to show a bit of impetus. But did that leave, the fact that he was having these conversations with City and with Chelsea, did that leave a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth at the time? I'm not talking about, we don't have to rewrite history now and say, oh no, it's fine. But did it leave a bad taste in your mouth at the time?
Yeah, it stung, didn't it? Your best player at the time. It did sting, and you're like, oh, you know what you're doing? You can't do that. It wasn't. And you can imagine the players that were there as well also going, what are you doing? But like you said, he had a point, didn't he? If you've gone from Ronaldo, Tevez playing around you, and then they brought in Michael Owen and Antonio Valencia. We were all like, what are you doing? You need to replace them players. Go and get the best players. And we weren't at the top table for getting the best players. And Rooney was the best player. So he'd be looking around going, I want to play with players that are as good as me. I don't have to. I want to go where the best players. So, you know what? He showed ambition, showed determination to win. And I'm all for that. At the time, like you said, you felt a bit sick if thinking he could end up in a blue shirt, either blue shirt. But in hindsight, he's probably right, wasn't he?
I think, it definitely was right. When you were talking about like looking back at the highlights and looking back at the goals that he'd scored and things like that, and feeling like he's underappreciated, I get, whenever there's like a package that comes out of like great goals and great Premier League players, I feel like there's a recency bias that kind of forgets those players from back in the day, the Shearers, the Henrys even. Rooney's definitely one of them, because he's on the BBC Sport and because he's doing the punditry and everything now, people just, I think there's a tendency for people to just think, oh, he's a failed manager. They forget about how potent he was as a footballer. They probably remember a few things from like DC United and stuff like that great goal that he set up. Do you remember that one where he chased back 40
Yeah, when he
yards,
chased back.
took the ball, crossed it in, last minute header, won the game. There's probably a few people that remember him from things like that. But when it comes to dominating players, I would suggest that there's probably a few people that would say Haaland's a better player just because of the recency bias. And again, you're shaking your head, and I completely agree. It's when you look at Rooney's all-round game, the tackling, the passing, the positioning, the goals, the leadership in his later years, everything. He was the complete package, and you don't often get that in footballers anymore. And the best comparison that, and probably the one that he would love the most, is Eric Cantona. You know, that you would go with the flair of Eric Cantona, that aggression that he's got as well. He's the only person that's come close for Manchester United since Eric. Zlatan, yes, but he didn't. We got him past his peak. Great player. Named our new cat after Zlatan. And our dog's whose birthday it is today. My dog's birthday is today. He's 13. Eric, after Eric Cantona. So yeah, happy birthday, Eric. But these types of characters, I think they come along so rarely that you do remember them fondly. But I don't think the football masses do. I don't think there's enough viable footage that people can clip up and put out there and go, hey, look at this show reel. Because that's how every player gets out there these days.
Literally why I said I thought he was underrated, underappreciated, just because I was trying to, because like I said, we talk about this before and what we're going to do, and I was trying to think of people that were better than him, and that's because I knew it was a big statement coming out saying I think he's the best Premier League striker ever, and then I knew people would say Haaland. Haaland isn't a patch on the football the way Rooney was, not a patch. Might be a goal scorer, not a footballer. Wayne Rooney was a much better footballer. And then I thought, who else? Henry, Shearer, Aguero, these type of players, Suarez, Torres. Rooney's better than that. Rooney was a hybrid of Henry and Shearer together. It was the pair of them. Rooney was a better footballer than Aguero was. He was top. And you, like I said, only one person, one striker better ever for me, and that's Iron. That's it. So I think that's probably the biggest compliment you can pay Wayne Rooney. The English striker, English player, unbelievable.
Even with the label of striker or forward, I think diminishes his impact on the game, because he was the complete package. I know I sound like a broken record, but he was the complete package in everything that you would want from a footballer. You got the feeling that you could play him in any position on the pitch and he'd perform for you. He'd do whatever you was asking him to do because he just loved football so much. So yeah, I do look back and I do wonder if he had taken care of himself in the same way as Ronaldo did, where he would be right now. Would he still be playing? Would he have got bored of the game? I don't know.
Well, he had a 19 season career, which is a really, really long career. And that probably is one of those things, you know, where you said people think of him as the back end of his career. Because like I said, he did peak very, very early. So peak Wayne Rooney is what I'm talking about, where he was probably the best ever in the Premier League. And that longevity, because his game dipped off and he went to centre midfield and he played on the left, and probably is another reason why people think, oh, well, he was just a bit player and he played here and he played. No. Prime Wayne Rooney was the best. Croppers transfer corner in HD. The echo, then. In HD. A caveat there.
What have we got this week, mate? What have we got there? He is. There's a Fergie's gone.
Well, Fergie's gone. Sorry, I forgot what we were doing then. All right, let's scroll down. I've got my notes here. I've got a couple. First one's a really weird one. And I don't know where it came from. You probably saw it yourself. Most United fans saw it and went, "What, really?" It was the transfer rumour from Liverpool was McAllister was subject to a bid from Manchester United because he's on his way out. You didn't see it? So it came out and it was everywhere for 24 hours and then it got poo-pooed by almost everyone. And I don't know where it came from, but it's not smoke without fire. Is there all that lot? But it's such a weird one. I just thought I'll put it on there, but it's a no from me. Anyway, McAllister, you having that?
No, because, they'd never sell to United in the first place. And if he was going anywhere, I can see him rocking up in a Real Madrid shirt.
Yeah, I just thought I'll put it on there. It was everywhere. 27-year-old, not having it. The one that, there's two that I thought, wow, okay. So Manchester United want Igor Thiago from Brentford. Brentford are demanding 80 million for the 24-year-old. He's in demand after scoring 17 goals this season. Also, Chelsea and Arsenal are sniffing around. Thoughts?
80 million, absolutely not. No chance. Because the thing is, you're buying potential. I know he's done it this season, but can he do it next season? Can he do it in a bigger team that plays different style of football? Can he be the not the focal point of a team? Can he be a bit part player in a team? Like, because he won't come in and be like the number one man. Benjamin Sesko is going to be that person, or you've got Mbumo and Cunha. We're sharing the goals around. You know what I mean? No, 80 million. Phew, jog on.
No. Not
No
for me
thanks.
either. I saw, funnily enough, the week before, I saw something about Igor Thiago where he come out and he said, I wasn't really a big fan of football, but just good at it. So as soon as somebody says that to me, I go, all right, yeah, no worries, mate. Good luck. Yeah, not for me either. 80 million as well. Yeah, no.
Didn't he say?
yeah.
Wasn't he quoted as saying something about loving Manchester United recently as well?
Possibly.
I know. Illiman and Dye said that the best place to play is at
Yes.
Old Trafford. So I mean, that's hinting up. I think that could be one to watch.
Dangling
over
a
the
little
summer.
carrot there on it.
Yeah. But I'm sure Igor Thiago said something as well. I'm sure he
I
said
didn't
something.
read it, mate.
but
As soon
anyway.
as someone says, as soon as I hear someone saying they don't love football, my brain just switches off. It's like if you go to a party and you sit next to someone, they go, "Do you like football?" No, mate. All right, you walk off, don't you? Not
Yeah.
talking to him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're not having any of that. Who's that weirdo? Fixing bikes and stuff like that? No, mate. No, not for me.
Felt like a snide. It felt like a snide jab at me then. Fixing bikes, something to do with my hobby.
The next one, which actually yourself brought up, and I saw it and I wanted to discuss it as well, was Wolves winger 18-year-old Matthias Mane. England under-18s has been linked with a move to Manchester United. Wonder kid in the Wolves team. You watch him and he's not played a lot against the Wolves, but reminds me of Ismail Sarr at Palace. You know, that type of player who ball carrier, pace, really strong for an 18-year-old. Looks like an animal, to be honest with you. Good touch on him, but reports seem to be heating up about United are interested in him and he's high up on the list. There's no price around him, which is interesting. But yeah, plays for England under-18s. Thoughts?
I think with him, with Mane and João Gomez, they're both going to leave at the end of the season, 100%, because they're getting relegated. So I think whatever Wolves were hoping to get for these players when the season started, they're definitely getting nowhere near that now when they go down to the Championship. So I can see a bargain being had with Mane and with João Gomez as well, who is still on the list for United, by the way. But I was thinking about this the other day. Are we shopping at Wolves? Having two of their players, potentially having two of their players in the summer, that'll make it 3 in the past year. Should we be shopping there? They're about to get relegated with one of the worst points hauls ever. Is that where we should be going for players, or should we be looking at a little bit higher up?
Yeah, with the structure now, they are looking at kids, aren't they? Bringing the best kids in. If he is in England under-18s and he's doing well, they'll know, won't they? The scouts will be looking at England 18 and going, "Wow, look at this kid," and he's not built like an 18-year-old. Tell you that when you look at him. So yeah, I understand the João Gomez one, but like I said to you, when he comes to Old Trafford, if we're best midfielder there, we've seen it. We've seen how good he is. So you put in with better players, and yeah, the better. But yeah, I looked at that one and I thought the Mane one was, we've got a lot of kids there. We're going to touch on that in a bit, and the Fergie's gone. We've got a lot of kids that are in that position. How would they feel if you brought them in? Would it kick them on? Would he come in and say, "Well, I'm not going to get in the team"? But we do need a left winger, don't we? And he looks comfortable on there. But would he start? It'd be potential. All depends on price and things like that for me.
I think the first choice, and he's probably on your list as well, I still believe that is Yan Diomande. I think he is still the number one choice. Bayern Munich have apparently entered the race to sign him, because obviously they will. With him being at RB Leipzig, I'm sure they're tapping him up all the time. But I think United would have a step up in that race because Christopher Vivell's relationship with RB Leipzig, that helped to get Sesko over the line. I'm sure he'll do the same thing with Diamande as well. The only thing for me with Diamande is the price of him. I think he's going to be pretty high because he just signed a new contract. So I think with the new contract, 100% they put a release clause in there. 100% it's something that suits him on his salary. He's had a bump up, but also suits RB Leipzig where they're not going to get their pants pulled down in the summer with a low ball offer of something like 40 mil. So I think he could be north of 80 million. And when you start to reach that 80 million mark and you're not Premier League proven, what are you saying about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of the Diamande one will depend. A lot of these transfers will, to be honest, will depend on Champions League football and the funding that we've got from there and what's available. But when you start talking, easy 80, 90 million euros is what they'll ask you. I think Ndiaye is the top of the list for that left midfield. And then if we do get Champions League, you can't bring them both in. They both can't come into the team. But yeah, the Diamande one, he is high up on the list. But like you said, I think all of Europe, he's on everybody's radar. And the good thing we've got there is he seems to be good mates with Amad Diallo. So yeah, that could be something that plays in our favour.
And the other good thing is African Cup of Nations, when they all jet off places to go and compete, it's apparently the next one's taking place in the summer when there's no football on. So,
yes.
There we go.
That'll do, won't it? That'll do.
Get the AFCON boys in. Get the AFCON boys in.
Yeah. I've got 3 more, but we'll just brush over them quickly. The first one was a Scott McTominay return. It looks like Napoli are looking at he wants to return to the Premier League, but not for me.
No.
You're shaking your head as well?
What is he now? 28?
Must be.
28,
He must be.
I mean, I don't think we should have sold him in the first place, and neither did Erik ten Hag, but it is what it is. We moved him out and then moved Højlund out. We moved the player out to accommodate the striker. So we moved McTominay out to accommodate Højlund because McTominay's getting in his way. That's why he's not scoring goals. Then he had a free run at goal and couldn't hit a barn door. So we should have just kept McTominay in the first place. But for me, that's done. That's done and dusted. He's never coming back to Old Trafford. It'd be great if he did, but I just don't see where he gets into this team.
I have a different opinion. I thought it was best for both parties that McTominay moved on. I don't think he gets in the United team. I don't think he would have started in the United team. Just my opinion. You struggle for a place for McTominay in the formations that we played and stuff like that.
I agree. I agree. The thing that I disagreed with at the time was that the reason why we got rid of McTominay in the first place was because we had 2 players that were crashing the box, Højlund and McTominay, and to get the best out of the new striker that we paid a lot of money for was by removing him and making a profit on him because he was a homegrown talent. So I feel like it was purely money that made that move happen. And he should have been, we should have kept him and got rid of Højlund instead, but there we go. Who's next on your list there?
2 more. We've discussed the first one. We'll just go to that first. And it won't go away. Hayden Hackney from Middlesbrough. He seems to be high up on the list as well. That's another one that I think there'll be a lot of clubs looking at him, especially. Not sure how they're doing, but he's got high potential. And that rumour's there almost every week when I look around. The next one on the list.
They're second. Middlesbrough are second in the league at the moment. They got battered by Coventry, who are top of the league. They got battered 3-0. So I think that Hayden Hackney thing is only related to Michael Carrick. I think that's the only way that he comes into the club is if Carrick is still there. No, United will be looking higher up than that. He's got a whiff of the, and I know this might sound unfair, he's got a whiff of the Nick Powells about him.
I know what you mean. The next one is Dortmund player Felix Nemencha. Centre midfielder, doing well at Dortmund, and we linked with him a few years ago actually. 2-3 years ago, I seem to remember, and he seems to have settled in that team. And there are rumours that United are looking at him. He's probably like in the second tier of midfielders that we're looking at. Do
Mm,
you know, if you can't get the top tier, he's another
yeah.
one that we're looking at. So yeah, but it's another name that was thrown out there. That is it for ins then, Ethan. We have one out.
I've got a
But-
couple. I've got a couple as
Oh,
well.
nice. Yep.
Sticking with Borussia Dortmund, that Julia Ryerson, is that what he's called? Julian Ryerson? Right back.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. He's been linked with United as well. He's apparently the Bundesliga's assist king. He's got the most assists in the league this season. So
Is this the lad that takes the corners? I think he is. And
Think so, yeah.
they were saying, I saw a clip yesterday saying we found the new Cafu. So
Yeah.
17-year-old. Yeah. Norway international.
17 mil worth a punt.
I'm just glad we're looking at right backs.
Oh, poor Diogo. Even when he's not being mentioned.
Yeah, well, I think right back, like I said, fullbacks are a position we could really look at in this team.
Okay, and then I'll run through these last two. Eduardo Camavinga was another player that was complaining recently that he's not been playing in his favoured number 6 position. So what the mischief makers have done there is they've gone, well, Manchester United are looking for a number 6. Maybe Manchester United will sign him. Do you think he could still do a job for United? Because he's had a bit of an injury problem. 66 games he's missed in 6 seasons. So that's
I watched
quite a
him
lot.
last night.
Yeah?
Night. He was awesome. He was immense.
Okay.
He picked up the ball at one point and drove through the middle, and he is immense. Just solid, absolutely solid, brilliant on the ball. He is immense, but the injury problem would be a worry. It would be a worry. One just while we're on the Real Madrid player, there's a player there that seems to be unhappy in Spain. Gets a lot of stick in Spain. The racial issue is massive, but I wouldn't be poo-pooing the idea of Vinicius Jr. fancying jumping shit there, because he seems to have to go through it every single week in Spain.
And
He will be looking
in
for
Portugal. And in Portugal last
and in
night as
Portugal,
well.
exactly. Yeah. That's the game I watched last night. Disgraceful. It does happen in Spain, and we all know it. I don't know why players go there. I just don't get it, because you're going to get stick from the stands, it's disgraceful. It won't go away either. I think there's a chance there that he'll want to come to the Premier League.
I think
Jr.
he'll go to Saudi. I think he'll go to Saudi.
Possibly.
I don't think United.
Yep,
I don't think United will take a punt on him because of the salary. I think any player that's coming in, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but any player that's coming in has to be, I think it's kind of an unwritten rule that they have to be under 200 grand a week. So would he
You'd have to double
accept-
that for him. No,
Exactly.
no, he wouldn't. You're right. Yeah,
Exactly.
you're right.
And then the last one that I had was the Sandro Tonali one, which was
yes.
because he was linked. So his agent offered him to Arsenal at the end of the January transfer window, which was a bit naughty, and caught Newcastle United unawares, caught Eddie Howe unawares, and all of the management there. And they came out and said he's not going anywhere, which is fair. You know, it was way too close to the end of the window to have done anything in return, especially after they got burned with Isak's prolonged transfer out. The news now is that that Manchester United are in talks with his agent in case he does become available in the summer and they can bring him in. However, the Athletic's Laurie Whitwell admitted on I think it was the Talk of the Devils podcast, or he might have been on Stretford Paddock, but he was saying that what had happened was the agent. It was the equivalent of the agent ringing Manchester United, asking to get put through to someone, speaking to that person, and then coming off that phone call and saying we're in talks with Manchester United. So there was no deal actually talked about apart from the fact, oh, my client, blah 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 blah, and that suddenly became linked to Manchester United, or sorry, in talks with Manchester United. But Tonali, is he one that you would go for? You like Tonali, don't you? Is it you?
I do like
Or is it
Tonali.
Ahmad?
Yeah. No, I do. Ahmad probably does as well. He's a good footballer, Tonali, isn't he?
Mm.
Does he come with baggage? Is what I'm thinking. Does he come with something unwanted, an attitude? I don't know. Footballer, brilliant. Is he top tier? He's a champion. He's definitely Champions League level Tonali, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's definitely up there. You're talking 80, 90 million. I think you can probably put him up there with Anderson, Wharton. Believers probably dropped down in the levels now, which is probably why Tonali replaces him there. So if you're looking at that kind of quality, Tonali is definitely up there. And he would be a very, very good replacement for Casemiro. Very good. I think I said it last week. I can see him going back to Italy. You were heartbroken when he had to leave Italy. We were told he had to leave. So I can see him going back there to Juventus or back to AC Milan if they got the money from him. But it's funny that Newcastle are now their players are getting shopped around, isn't it? Yeah. That's a good up north, is it, lads? Baltimore comes in. Everyone was telling me Baltimore is the next big thing, and of course he is.
They just meant literally, like because he's really tall. That's
it. They'll be looking to raise funds, Nathan. Newcastle now as well, because they've spent a lot of money on not a very good bunch of players. So I won't be surprised if that Newcastle are being a bit naughty with it now, because he's probably the man who's worth most money in that squad.
Do you know what?
And on the biggest wage.
What I'd love to see is a well-researched piece about when a club gets massive money for a player, what do they then go and spend it on? Which ones were the success stories after they got a huge amount of money in? Because when you was just talking about that, Isak was replaced with Johan Visser, Walter Made, and what's he called? Anthony Elanga. And who was the other one? Was there another one? Yeah.
Thiago won at the centre half. I like Thiago.
Yeah, I mean, I
Stinks,
like
doesn't it?
Thiago as well.
Yeah.
It does stink, but it goes back to what you were saying before when we were talking about Wayne Rooney. Like when we sold Ronaldo, what was it, 80 million we got for it? 80, 90 million. And then Valencia, Owen, and was it Obertan? Did we discuss this before?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Gabriel Obertan. He'll be the next Ronaldo type of thing, and obviously that didn't turn out well. Spurs, when they got rid of Gareth Bale.
Gareth Bale. That stink. That one, when you mentioned it, and I thought we're going to talk about the Bale one, and that was the worst bit of business I've probably seen ever. That one. I think they got about 8 players, didn't they? Lamella, random playing. Yeah, it was awful. Awful investment.
I'd love to see who's done the best out of that. Like maybe I'll do it for the next podcast. Maybe I'll do a bit of research myself and see if I can work it out. But yeah, when teams get big money for a player, the tendency is to go with, right, 1 player gone, 3, 4 in, but we're going to spread the costs of it. And I don't think it works out.
Probably Scousers, isn't it? Van Dijk and Alisson. The one that comes to mind. That's probably the best investment when they got the kids.
Yeah.
Barcelona
true.
when they bought Dembele, didn't they, for like 3 trillion or something like that when they got the Neymar money. They just went mad, didn't they? Spend the money. Like me when I get me 20 quid at Christmas off my wife. Spend me money, burning all in my pocket.
Straight out to get some of your shillagit or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The last one I wanted to talk about in Cropper's Transfer Corner was the news. I did a clip on this. I did a video on this the other week, and it was only based on half a rumour. And I don't know whether I've stoked it up, but Marcus Rashford back to Manchester United because Barcelona are trying to renegotiate the fee with Manchester United, which they agreed before they took him on loan, which they have a habit of doing, by the way, once they get these players in on loan. And now they want to renegotiate it. There's been rumours that the president who's coming in, because it's an election, isn't it, coming up now?
Right, is it? Yeah, right, okay.
Laporte has stepped down so that he can run again for Barcelona. So that's one of the conditions. So I think one of the guys that said that they're coming in, they're not keen on keeping him. If they come in, they're going to restructure the wage bill and blah 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 and this and that. And then Michael Carrick apparently saying, "Oh yeah, I'd take him back at Manchester United." All of this is hearsay, by the way. We don't know whether this is true or not. But yeah, Rashford back at United, I'm simply not having it.
No. It is the only out that I've got there. The only one that was the rumours of. Not for me. No, I think Marcus Rashford is better off being away from Manchester United, and probably better off being away from the UK, in my opinion. Just keep doing it. The thing is with Barcelona, but we knew they were going to do this, didn't they? I thought, and you probably thought, most United fans, 26 million. Is that all we're getting for Marcus Rashford? I think we were looking at 40, 45 plus. I mean, if Garnacho's worth that much, Marcus Rashford is definitely worth that much. And then when they agreed a deal for 26 million, I thought, wow, we really did just want to get him out of the club. He must have been really, really just kicking cons around in training. And then for Barcelona, I'm not surprised Barcelona are doing that. It doesn't shock me with the Spanish clubs, because it's like the same happened with Anthony, didn't it? They bought everyone, and then also, oh, we've got no money. What we accept, will you take this? You take this bag of peanuts for him? No, we won't. No. If it doesn't work out with Barcelona, no, Marcus Rashford, you'll be in the reserves, and then somebody will pay 40 million for him, guaranteed. As an Italian club, a French club, a German club even, would pay more than 26 million, and they'd be more than happy to. The issue with Rashford has always been these ridiculous wages.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I can't see him coming back to Manchester United, and it would be a step back. Another player that I can't see coming back to Manchester United, and again, another person that was linked. I know I said this was the last one, but Mason Greenwood apparently had a falling out with Mehdi Benatia, who's I think he's the sporting director at Marseille. Obviously, Roberto De Zebri's left now. He'd had a falling out on the training ground with Benatia, and they've, again, just get rid of him. Apparently, his attitude on and off the pitch has been shocking, and that's why Benatia had an argument with him. Who'd have thought that little scumbag would have caused more problems wherever he goes?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Exactly. Yeah, well, there's been signs, hasn't there, Nathan? Yeah, there's been a few signs that you can pick up on. Yeah, not surprised. No, it can never happen. Never. Don't like talking about him, to be honest with you.
Gummer's mailbag. If you can just stop flexing just for a second, just to read some of the correspondence.
I'm in HD. Cut the guns in HD.
Come on.
That's what I'm going to call it. The left one's H, the right one's D. HD.
Come on. Get that Gummer's mailbag open.
Brilliant.
Come on.
Gummer's mailbag. Right, the one I've got is from Adam. Love this question, because obviously I think the kids are brilliant at the minute. I like watching the kids' team things. So he's put, who next season from the youth team should make the step up, and who needs another year or a loan move? So I don't know if everybody watched the kids at the weekend. The under-18s beat City 3-1, didn't they? Under-16s lost to City. So there's a big rivalry there, because City are really a good team. United, now we have, in my opinion, one of the best youth teams coming through now. And I think there's another golden generation there coming through in the under-18s especially. But people seem to forget about the under-21s. It's just because we're not talking about the golden lads that are underneath. So I made a little list of players that I thought would do a job in the first team. And I don't think it's too soon, from my opinion only. Just go back to that City game first, because JJ Gabriel scored. Jim Thwaite scored another free kick, which was outstanding again. That lad's free kicks are unbelievable. He's come back from a little injury, Jim Thwaites, and he just settles back into the team, and unbelievable. I want to give a big mention to Chido Obi, though, because from what I saw, he was outstanding. He hit the post twice. Was a constant problem for these centre halves. And I think I'm on this podcast about 12 months ago. I said he's not ready for the first team. He's just not ready. He needs time. He needs time to settle into Manchester United, into the club. Give him time. And the glowing reports from the United youth staff saying how good he was at the weekend. His work rate, off the ball, his shooting. For me, what stood out, Nathan, was his work rate. He battled. He just battled all the way through, and I thought, yeah, you'll do for me, mate. And his progression has gone. It's gone again. So yeah, I just wanted to give a big shout out to him. Once again, JJ Gabriel stood out again. So we've got I think those three that scored with this, they're what everyone's going to talk about. But it's not just them. There's the likes of Mantato, Goodwill Konkonke, the fullback. James Bailey's another one. The Fletcher boys, they're obviously they're in and around the first team now. There's a Welsh lad there, Bianchieri, striker as well, who scores in the 21s almost every game. There's probably
Did he go out? Did he go out on loan at the end of the season? At the end of the window?
no, I
Who-
don't think he did. I don't know. I'd have to check. That.
Okay.
Check that one, Nathan. But then we've also got Shea Lacey. Yeah, they're the ones that are teetering on the first team. But at the end of this season, I guarantee you the likes of Jim Thwaites will be knocking on the door, coming to. I mean, always in and around the first team training. What worries me is about the likes of Angel Gomez when he was in, in the youth team. And I was like, this lad's going to be brilliant. He came on, he's made his debut, and I was all excited. And then all of a sudden, he was kind of turfed out of the club when he said he wanted to be in the first team. And I was absolutely gutted at that because I was 100% certain he would come into Manchester United team and be the number 10 for years. Didn't work out. So I know it won't work out with all of these, but if you say, what was it? I've got a list of maybe 15 lads there. 10% of them work out and get into the Manchester United first team. We're on a winner. We're absolutely on a winner. Yeah. They're the lads that I would say could make the step up.
So just to recap, which are the lads that you reckon will be in the team next season?
So yeah, I just went
All
off on
15.
one
Yeah.
Yeah, all 50. Jim Thwaites, I think you don't go and spend 67, 80 million on a centre midfielder. Get one. Definitely get one. Give Jim Thwaites the chance. Chido Orbit would be a good understudy for Sesko if he carries on his development. He would be. Just to come off the bench, 10 minutes, bring him on in the cup games, Champions League, let him have a little look around because his potential is sky high. The obvious one, JJ Gabriel. I think JJ Gabriel probably needs another season just because he is a boy. I think he probably needs another season.
Do you think he will accept another season?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah, because he's 15, Nathan. Not right.
I get it, but he's got grand ambitions to be in that first team ASAP. I mean, he hasn't had talks with the Ruben Amorim, Sir Alex Ferguson, what's he called? Who's our sporting director? Jason Wilcox. He hasn't had talks with those guys. He hasn't had talks with those guys to sit in the under 18s or under 21s. They've given him a path to the first team, sure.
Don't get me wrong. I think he'll make his debut. I don't think he will be a starter. Or do you understand that? I don't think he'll be someone that will come in. But I think he will definitely make his debut. But I still think we need another left winger to go and buy one. If you understand what I mean, with JJ Gabriel, I wouldn't want him to come in and then ruin his confidence. I don't think he would ruin his confidence, to be honest with you.
No,
I just wouldn't.
No chance.
I could see an issue. Shea Lacey would be a step ahead of him, if you know what I mean. People were calling for Shea Lacey to be in the first team 12, 18 months ago. Just wasn't quite ready. Same with JJ Gabriel, in my opinion. Mantato, he's probably still same. He's probably there with Shea Lacey. They play similar positions, which is probably a bit awkward. Goodwill Konkonke, the left back, is one I would look at. I think he can come in and do a job. He's an animal.
I think
that kid. Brilliant on the ball. He's physically
that position is going to be difficult though, because you got Dorgu there, and it depends if Shaw stays next season. He's going to play left back as well. But yeah, it's good that we do have that strength in depth for those positions, and Diego Leon as well, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And then James Bailey's another centre midfielder. Every time I've seen him stand out, probably not quite ready for the step up. The Fletcher boys are in and around there, aren't they? Call them the Fletcher boys, put them in. Just in the same thing. But they seem to be very highly fancied, and we've seen them both come on. So that says a lot. So they will be in and around the first team squad. So promising for the United youth team. Like I said, they won't all make the step up, but I think it shows you next season. We don't have to go mental in the transfer window. Just give some of these kids a chance. Dust them in.
I think
Just a bit of sprinkle of youth.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. What was the original question again? Because I need
Oh,
to. Yeah.
yeah, sorry. Who next season from the youth team should make the step up, and who needs another year or loan move?
Okay. So, for me, I agree with the three that you said about Shea Lacey. I think makes a step up. I think Chido Obi does. He's already had a taste of the first team, and I think he stays around the first team squad. I think the Fletcher brothers do. Although I can see them potentially going out on loan just to a Premier League side, maybe a newly promoted one, to get some experience. I think the person that's most likely to come into the first team, maybe not to play uh, as first choice, but Radek Vitek will probably come back from his loan at Bristol City, and he will go into that first team squad, because it'll be him, Heaton, and Lamans. I don't see Bayern staying beyond next season or this season, and I also think Onana's probably gone as well. Interesting with the JJ Gabriel one. Like, I, I think they've told him that he's going to stay, that he's going to get a pathway to the team, and I don't think giving him a little taste of football elsewhere, I think that's going to kind of take the shine off what's been promised, if that makes sense. I think if he's like playing for Warsaw or someone like that, or they've sent him out to Lausanne, who left Sekou Kone off their Europa League list, I think, or Conference League list, by the way. So he's not going to even play in that competition. I just think they would prefer for him to stay around and just be institutionalized at Manchester United. Don't give him a taste of other places, because then once you're out of that controlled environment, you'll have agents coming, watching games at different places, and they'll be in his ear and they promise you this and promise you that. Don't think it's a good thing
On
for
the
you.
commercial side as well, seeing him in another shirt, he's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
no, if he's Manchester United through and through. Yeah, no, I get that. Do you not think it's a bit too soon?
No, not at all. I think if you're good enough, you're old enough. So I think you'll be thrown in eventually. I mean, look at that lad at Chelsea, Estevan.
Yeah, good point.
I know they're not the same age, but he's been thrown into it, and look at him dominating. I don't know if Liam Rosenior's the right man to get the most out of him, but Wayne Rooney was a young boy, and we just talked about him. If you're that good, you can come in and you can make an impact. Is he going to get smashed? Yeah, probably. But VAR and referees tend to protect attackers these days, so let them keep kicking him, because you'll get free kicks, and then Jim Thwaites will pop it in.
He is quickly outgrowing the under-18s, JJ Gabriel, and so are a few of them, to be honest with you. So they'll be bumped up, yeah.
Bianchieri, by the way, is on loan. He's at Rotherham. He just made his first senior appearance. So I remember
keep an eye on that.
Yeah, there was some talk about him going out on loan. It was right at the end of the window, so I think they thought it was a shot to nothing. So yeah, he's out there now. I'm just looking at the under-21 squad, and I completely forgot that Kana Biek, who's also at Lausanne, I think. Did he go out on loan? The striker that we bought at the end of the window last season, I think it was. His dad's like Cameroon international, or his granddad was Cameroon international, and he's got really good pedigree. Another striker, basically. But I can see him going out on loan. As you said, it's hard. It's a hard question to answer, and I don't even know if I did actually answer it, or if you did. But the bigger question is, like, where are United going to now? What are they going to do with this numbers game that they've got? Because as you rightly pointed out, not all of these players are going to make it for Manchester United, and some of them will have to go out on loan. Some of them will have to go and play for Kilmarnock once their United career is over and done with. Do they want to try and integrate these players into the squad so that they can, if they don't get the best out of them, at least they can sell them on for a profit? Or is it going to be all about buying the best players again? It's a really difficult balance, isn't it? But
It's a balance you have to make, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and there aren't enough games for Manchester United this season to see these young players coming through. There's just not enough games for senior players to get enough game time in there to see what they can do. Like Joshua Zirkzee, for example, Terrell Malacia, is not going to get much time in the team. But next season, with more competitions, fingers crossed, we should see more of these kids coming through. And I can't wait. That's what Manchester United's all about, if you ask me. Bringing these young
They'll
lads
get the
through.
chance in pre-season, won't they, Nathan? We'll have a look at them in pre-season, and the club will decide if they're good enough or if they're ready. And exciting enough.
Do you know, this will be the last bit before we finish the podcast. One player that we always miss out whenever we're talking about like coming through next season or, will they get their chance? Harry Amas. Talking about left backs there. We're
Good
talking about
point.
left backs
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I hope
where is he?
I hope he comes back from it. He'd be heartbroken at the minute when he with his injury. I hope he comes back fighting. Have they said how long he's out for? I think I heard it was a bad one. Maybe 6 months.
Let me check. Harry Amas. But
Yeah,
again,
it's,
that
I know.
that left side is flowing. We've got a lot in there at the moment, and I don't know if there's space for all of them. It doesn't say. It doesn't say how long he's out
Is it
for.
not?
It says
Yeah, that's
yeah. It says it
It's
could be a few
worrying, innit?
weeks, few months. Oof.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
From what
right,
I heard, it was
that's
a bad
it.
one.
Yeah, no, it was, and it's rough because he came off that Sheffield Wednesday loan, hoping to get into a team that was probably going to play a bit better football. I think Sheffield Wednesday are first team ever to get relegated in all of the top divisions on negative points. I think they've lost 6 of their last games or something like that. So yeah, glad that he's out of there, but obviously not glad that he's got injured. Anyway, I didn't think we'd have a lot to talk about today because there hasn't been any football games, but turns out there's always loads, especially
Just
when
go
we
down.
especially when we go off piste. Yeah, do follow us on Instagram and YouTube, where we often post our shorts, and you get to see Paul in HD. Might even get to see him flexing at some points.
In
you
daylight
can find us
as well.
in daylight as well. You can go to fergiesgumpodcast.com and you'll find our newsletter there as well, which comes out every week. And there is one coming out probably tomorrow. If this goes out, recording Wednesday, edited Thursday and posted. Yeah, out Friday, out tomorrow. There we go. I'm looking into the future. Like you did with Christian Romero, mate. Anyway, we will be back again after the Everton game, won't we? Everton. It's like
Yes.
ages. Oh,
Big game.
let's just do quick predictions. Everton game.
2-1. 2-1 United. Should win there.
United. I'm going Desmond 2-2. And Dial have a stormer. There we go. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you again next week.